All right, what are we doing here today, Pap?
We're going to flesh this coon, and I'm going to show you the hardest part about fleshing a coon and the most critical area for it to do, how easy it is if you know how to do it.
Well, what tool do you have there? What's that called?
This is called a Necker 600.
And that's a fleshing tool, a fleshing knife.
Yep, it's a stainless steel fleshing tool, and I use it for everything.
And then you have just the fleshing beam here that you made yourself.
This is one of the fleshing beams. So.
Okay. Tell me about fleshing a coon, because you've showed me how to flesh fox before, but not coon. So.
Well, this is all gristle here, back of the ears. You only have to take it from right back of the ears down.
From the back of the ears down is where you're going to try and start.
That's when you're going to start. You don't have to worry about the head. But this is the hardest part, so it isn't where most people have trouble.
Is it because it's tender there, or?
No, it's just all gristle.
Okay.
And you get that gristle off of there. You see, it's all gristle. See, it looks like you got a real sharp knife, you know.
But it's really not that sharp.
No, feel it. It's not sharp.
Oh, no.
But it's
I'm bleeding, but it isn't that sharp.
Yeah, right. If you just take your time, you know.
And you're moving it like
you got it. Do it
from a 7 o'clock to a 2 o'clock or something like that.
You slide it, and it'll shave it right off. See how that shaves it?
Yep, I see
and
that.
That's really tough, so it is. You can't take this side of the knife. I mean, you can. Oh, you want to go on
and
it.
It's not going to come off. It's not going to come off. Use that sharper edge.
The little sharper edge, and you don't have to put no pressure to it. Just let it go on it. If you try to force it, then you're going to cut a hole in it.
Yep.
It's really hard for.
Now, do you do that the whole way around? Like you'll move that?
I'll move it around and work the whole way down. So I do with it. When I get down above, past this real tough gristle, there'll be the fat will be underneath it. And
that's what will switch the blade.
Switch the blade.
I see how you're shaving that off of there.
Yeah, it just shaves right off, and then you just turn it around a little bit.
Work on the other side.
Work on the other side. Now the belly, you use the other side of the knife around there. You can take this and take it right off.
I'm just sliding that down
there. See, I switched it, so I did, and that's the fat. And believe it or not, the more fat it's on it, the easier it is to do, because the fat.
It all stays together, so as you're slicing it off, you can work it down.
The fat is underneath the gristle and that, you know, and it comes off much easier. But that's the hardest part, right back there. And it's
behind the ears.
Yep. It's so simple, but it's in, just having the right tool. So you do, and just taking your time. And I'll take my time. I usually 5 or 10 minutes at the most.
To get one done.
Then I slowed down. I'm getting old. So,
I bet you can still make it in 5 minutes.
Well, not probably. Probably could. Some of them are harder than other ones, so they are. And when we get down to that point, then see it this way. You
just pulled the leg up over the top of your top of your fleshing beam.
Yep.
And that's holding it in there as you're pushing down on it.
Right. I'm not really pushing. I'm pushing.
You're just letting the blade work.
The slide. That's right. See, if you try and force it, that's when you're going to get into trouble.
Put a hole in the hide. And
Yep. That's when you're going to, See, here's a tough one, all down over the back. This is a good coon, because it's real tough. But now you see the more fat you have underneath there, you see the fat underneath if I'm taking that off. Well, it's usually, now the better the quality of the hide, the more primed up it is, the more it's harder it's going to be take off. So it is.
So the primer the hide, the harder it is to remove the flesh.
Well,
most of the time, typically.
Yeah, most of the time. But if you have a good coat of fat underneath it, the more fat, it's going to come off much easier.
Right.
So it is.
Now we'll get this one done. I want to talk about the color of that hide now on the inside.
You see, I can tell you this here you'll get a number 2 for this, because it's a blue.
Okay, we can see
or maybe even go to a number 3. So
if they were real prime, they'd be white on
white as snow.
But you got all that flesh work down to the bottom end of the hide now.
Yep, it's done. It's about
that one's done.
It's about done.
That was under 10 minutes. You still got it.
Well, I can go better than that, but I'm getting old.
So now what do we have? This
This is ready to go on to the.
But it looks a little blue. You were saying the color of the hide.
Yeah, that's the. It wasn't up 100% prime.
Right. See how it's a lot whiter up here towards the behind his shoulder.
Some of them over there hanging up there as white as snow. That's when you got, this one was caught in just a little bit earlier.
And that's why we always talk about, I always say you look at the back of the haunches for those guard hairs.
Yeah.
They can tell you when they're prime, but you can see up here behind his ears is a lot whiter than it is down here towards the back.
That's because that's the way they prime up.
That's right. They prime up at their head and then they start to the back. They finish at the back.
That's right, yeah. Can you get that? That goes to that guy over there.
So now what do you do with it? Let's go over here and let's let Louie show us what he's doing. All right, Louie. This is one Pat just got done flushing, so now what are we going to do with it?
Now we're going to put it on a stretcher right here.
That's a Abner Druckenmiller original right there.
Yes, it is. Made out of basswood. We're going to...
I'll let you do it. You show me.
Because like Pap says, one of these days we won't be here.
I'll have to do it all.
And you kids are going to have to know how to do it. And then we'll take a rag. Just try to wipe off all the loose
fat and
spots
gristle
that the machine over there missed. We're just wiping it down, trying to get the loose stuff off of it. The reason he's taking it off, because if you tried to dry it with all that stuff on, it would wind up actually spoiling before it ever got down to the leather to dry the leather out.
It'd taint.
Oh, yes. Once we get that done, we're going to make sure it's straight. We're going to line it up. The ears are at the right spot. Tail will be in the center. Turn around here. The legs look pretty good even with the stretcher. Here's your hind legs. And that's ready to stretch.
Now what do you need?
We're going to lay it here. Start on the belly side. We're going to pull these down, and I'm just trying to get as much out of the hide as the hide will give me.
So making look as big as you can, basically.
Right.
Stretching it out.
You want to get what this coon is worth as far as dollar.
Give a square inch. You want to get as much square inch.
Take a little staple gun, and that'll hold it.
So you're just pulling down and
even.
Go ahead. You said again you're trying to get these even.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see how the hide. See how the hide's pulling down here? Now watch when you pull this leg. See how it's coming around?
Right.
Now you got that attached. We roll it over. Got a little bit of fat here the other guy didn't get off.
You like to point that out, don't you?
I've been taking some wrath here.
It's been a long day with Pat.
Just make sure you get that skirt straight across there.
Yeah, right here. You want to try and keep this as straight as you can across here.
Okay, so you don't want to pull the tail down and have it going up this way.
Right.
At a V, you want to be straight across.
Yeah, you don't want it looking like a V, just like you said. You want to pull your sides down to get your length. You deserve it, or the coon deserves it.
Put one there to hold that side.
Put one in there to hold that side. Now pull these down. Let me see if I can. A little bit off there. I see you trying to help. Now, got both sides pretty even.
Okay.
Now you can pull this down.
You just put one staple there on either side of the tail then, or how many you put in there?
We'll put probably 3 on the side.
Okay. Those are some pretty nice stretchers.
They are real nice stretchers. Now we're going to take a piece of cardboard,
Taking a piece
flatten
of
that tail out.
cardboard.
Keeps it nice and flat.
Use less staples.
Ah, now that's a tricky trick right there.
Plus the cardboard is going to soak up any grease
Any
out of it.
moisture and stuff out of the tail.
Now we have this nice and flat.
Yep, straight across
Straight
there.
across from the bottom. The tail's nice and flat. Now we're going to flip it over.
Okay.
We're going to take these legs. When people see this video, Pap, they're going to say, now I see how them guys did that. And
So you take this one off over here, it's already dried, and show them what to do.
yeah, we'll push them all the way down.
Look at that. So you're pulling the legs up. What's
Yeah.
that do? That stretches that hide out.
Well, what it
Makes
does,
it look uniform.
what it does is when these dry, you cut them off right there. The leg hole is together.
And they're exactly the same length.
You don't have all these things flopping around, so when you put them in your bag to send them to the auction, you can get more in there. Everything's nice and flat.
Nice.
And when they come out, they don't have this stuff hanging there all dry and
Right.
hard.
Right, because these don't mean anything on
No.
that hide.
No, not at all. So you just pull them up as tight as you can, so when you cut them off, all you have is a real little...
And they'll be even because it's the same width on that clothespin
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Cool, that's a neat trick. Now what?
Now we're going to cut the bottom of the lip off. We'll cut the bottom of the lip off because what happens, that lip is going to flop down when you hang it up like that.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to have skin to skin that's not getting air.
So it's not going to all dry and
It's
cure.
not going to dry. It's going to rot there.
Yeah.
All right. So we
Because
take
the
that-
bottom lip doesn't mean anything on the hide either. They're using these hides, they're usually basically using the back part of it from the
Right.
ears down to the tail,
Right.
essentially.
Right. Now you're going to take this section here.
Ooh, what are you doing here?
You're going to pull that up. You're going to make a little slice up here. And you're going to bring that right down around.
That
the leg.
knife looks sharp.
That knife is sharp. Pop just sharpened that over there on his wheel.
So when you did that, now you're just trying to make it look as even as possible, just a U shape.
Inspection window.
Look at that!
Easy over there. This is my time.
Okay.
That's
Now,
nice.
When you
That
take
was cool how you did
when
that.
you take this off the board, you'll have a picture of the back of the coon. You'll be able to see the back of the hide.
So
the
whenever
hair.
those guys, those inspectors are looking at those hides, they'll be able to see right through there and see what
Yep.
the back. Oh man,
That's
is
called
that
a-
another trick that he had taught us?
Somebody told me that. I forget who it was.
Interesting.
So
That's-
you couldn't figure out how I did that.
See how it's tapered? Wider down here, skinnier up here.
So the skinny ends up towards the.
It's 1 inch down to a half inch.
It's got to be tapered because it's thinner
can-
up here at the top.
So you can pull it out. too.
Yeah.
Well, they recommend give you the measurements for the North American Fur Auction to have them. For the coon, it's 1 inch at the big end and a half inch at the little end.
So you push it just up there to where it's the
Mhm.
mouth.
Now, we're going to take a piece of wire, stick that through the nose hole and out through the nose. There we go. See, it comes out through the nose.
Uh huh.
We'll bend this up.
That's your hanger, isn't it?
That's your hanger.
So
Now, we'll hang them up here where it's kind of the warmest. And you're done. Now we'll show you the finished product. Everything we did on that last one, we're going to show you what
what it
all
looks
that-
like when it's done.
what all that stuff meant that we were doing, all the little tricks. We're going to take the wire out of the nose.
So this one's dried.
This one's dry. You can see the difference between the two.
So there's one to the right that we just put on the stretcher, and the one here to the left is one that's totally dry. So this one's been hanging for a week,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's well dry.
and it's ready to be taken off the stretcher. All right. So what do we got, Louie?
We'll take the clothespins off. And we're going to cut them right at this right at the hide. Right
Here you go.
Pat?
You need that?
Yes, I do. That's what I was looking for. Now we're just going to take that sharp knife. Keep your fingers out of the way. See that?
Look at that. Can't even tell that's where his front legs were. Nice and flat.
Closed up.
Yep.
We're going to pull our wedge out so we can get it off.
Now you're popping the staples out. Slip that hide off of there.
Now we're going to take this.
So do you, whenever you have this done, this is how you send it to the auction, just like this.
Yeah.
So the inside is out. And the reason for that is to tell what, they can see whether it's prime or not, correct? They grade them from the inside. Is that right, Pat?
You don't turn the fur side out like a fox or anything
Okay.
like that there. So you do. But that's just the way they want them there. And they can tell by the quality of the fur by looking in the inspection window and the color.
There's a coon ready to be sold at the auction.